You want some fromagerie?
You want some tofu?
All right, basement dwellers, welcome to Basement Discourse. I'm not going to do it the way we usually do it because every time I try, I sound like Batman with fucking COVID. And I'm kind of done with that. So last time we talked about difficulty levels and the way they scale in different games. You are joined, as per usual, by our gamer guy, Mr. Jace.
Oh.
Bottom man in his sweater, as always, our D&D dice rolling enthusiast, nodding away, looking like a pair of dice himself, Mr. Justin.
Wait, what?
A paradise?
He like nodded, and I was like, oh, he looks like the bubble game where you click the thing down and it bounces.
Yeah, that's my favorite tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, is it Boggle? Is that the game?
Boggle, that's the one. Yeah.
Fucking hell, that was a terrible game.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And your anime guy. I hear Jace has a question for us though.
So I was actually thinking about this the other day, right? Have you ever
Did it hurt?
No. Why the fuck would that hurt?
Yeah.
Anyway, back in the day, like the early days of the internet, as far as being a resource for like gaming and shit like that, did you guys ever catch on to like bullshit like cheats and like unlockables and stuff?
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, like Game FAQs. Do you remember that site?
Yeah,
It used to have like all the like cheats and like all the unlockables and that. And I remember there were fucking websites that would give you such fucking bullshit stuff. And I used to try all the dumb shit because I was like, oh my God, you can actually unlock this? And I'd spend like fucking 15 hours of dead set game time just trying to do this, and only to find out that it was a lie the entire time.
What do you mean? Like, do you mean like they're like, you need to go to this point of the map and turn left and then take 15 steps and then dig a hole and then walk through the hole and then like
sort of, yeah. Like,
find fucking Long John Silver's dick and then
does
give it a little twiddle.
Does
and
everyone
then, like...
remember the Pokemon one? Did like the red and blue to get Mew? That was like the biggest rumor.
There were a bunch for Pokemon. The one I was explicitly remembering was actually for one of the WWF SmackDown games. So in SmackDown 2, it had like a really long campaign. Like it just never ended. Like just new years kept rolling over. And you just progressively unlocked new shit as you played on and on. And then people would put in like fake shit, like new wrestlers that existed like around the time the game was released, not when it was being made and stuff like that.
Right.
And they were like, oh, if you get to this particular year, like
oh Jesus,
2030
like
or something, you'd unlock it. And I had my campaign at like fucking, I was in the future, man. We were driving space cars and shit. And I had spent so fucking long only to find out it was all bullshit. But
you finally make that comment, get back to GameFAQ and then just be like, fuck you, guy. I got you to year 2085 and there was no Long John Silver there at all. You piece of shit.
That's exactly it, man.
There was no Hulk Hogan in my future.
And like Pokemon was a bad one too because there was weird bullshit stuff like Missing No.
Missing No was a real thing though?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean is because Missing No existed, you're like, well, doing weird bullshit stuff for 16 hours totally makes sense.
Mm.
And then you find out that it doesn't and you've done nothing.
Yeah, so do you remember the Mew rumor?
I don't remember the specifics of it, but I do remember rumors of it.
So there was a very brief rundown, and unfortunately, like you said, there was like a fucking skirmish of truth in there based on like other ones working out. So the Missing No one, everyone knows you do like the surf in the right spot and then you go to the spot. Basically, it creates an error in the game. That's what occurs.
Yeah, it's the last bit of information that they had to use to fill the cartridge.
Yeah.
And you can catch that as a Pokemon.
Yeah. And
it's ridiculous.
But if you release it, you get like 99 fucking rare candies for some reason or something like that. It was like a weird system. But the Mew trick was there's this one Magikarp you can buy in the game. for an exceedingly ridiculous price. And the person like basically just wrote to you. I don't know why we did this to like the game was aimed at 12-year-olds, and for some reason we just did this. Like you just lose that money. It's just a normal magic cup. But the rumor went that if you purchased that magic cup, went and put it in the daycare center. So daycare centers would raise the level of your Pokemon. Now, the center presented itself as doing this by the day, but this is before Pokemon games had a day clock in them. So what it actually did was by your steps. So for every step you took, it counted as a certain amount of experience, and then you'd go pick up your Pokemon from the center, and if it gained enough experience, it'd be up a level. The rumor went that you put that magic cup that you purchased in the game from that one person in the daycare center, raise it up to level 50, take it out, give it a rare candy to evolve it into a Gyarados that could learn strength, which they can't usually. Then you could go to this one spot in the map, surf, you'd find this truck, and you could use that Gyarados' strength to push that truck, and Mew would be underneath it, and you could catch Mew, which is, of course, the 151 Pokemon that you could only catch by going to real-life Pokemon-held events back then. Yeah, it was a big deal. A lot of work to go through because, like I said, it wasn't based on internal clocks back then. It was based on steps. So you had to make that fucking character walk a lot.
How many steps is it going to take to like get a?
I don't even know.
50. I
never got more than like 10 levels.
Yeah, I never got more than 10.
It took fucking ages. You'd end up in the fucking Pokemon League. You'd be the fucking greatest in the world by the time that shit ticked over.
Damn.
And not even that, like the experience required for each level grew exponentially. So I don't even want to know how many it would have taken to get to 50. The problem was there was actually a truck at that location that you couldn't see unless you could surf there, which you couldn't under normal circumstances. So it made everybody believe it's actually possible. So if you had somebody trade you a Pokemon that could surf at this part in the game where you usually wouldn't have one, you could surf to this truck, but it would do nothing. So it grew in people's minds that if I did this Gyarados trick thing, that'd be what makes it move. Because that's the rumor. Because the truck actually exists, therefore that trick must work. It did fucking nothing. It never ever did a thing. I don't know why the truck was there in the game. Just unused game item that they dumped somewhere. It just was there, which just grew that rumor and that like hope
that little
in
seed
people.
Of possibility.
Yeah, but that's one of those games. Like that rumor was everywhere, and this is before I think like big internet forums, at least for me, because I was like 12 at the time that came out.
Rough.
So that grew like, basically by word of mouth, literally globally, which is pretty insane.
Pieces of shit. Whoever came up with that would just be like,
dude,
yes,
it was rampant in so many games that like there was the whole thing about the nude cheats for Tomb Raider as well.
Yeah.
And there were some obscure ones that are like, oh no, this is the real way to do it. You've got to, backflip over a boulder, over spikes, and you've got to do this on this particular level and then talk to your butler back at the home. And
Yeah. Some of the cheats, like they were like press triangle, L1, R1, to like do everything in the right order, would actually make things occur. So there was some for making unlimited ammo and every gun. They would actually work, but there was also one that would make her explode, and that was a real thing.
Yes.
So you could like press all the buttons. You could press all the buttons in the right order, and she would scream. But of course, like this is before characters had facial, so it would just play the sound effect of when she screams for whatever reason in the game, like a long fall, and then your character standing right there, good old Lara Croft, would just be like, and you die. Like it didn't achieve anything. You just died. Like,
in Tomb Raider, there was also like at the first Tomb Raider, there was actually a really cool spot in her mansion where she has a swan dive ability where she like full fucking goes out like this and then commando rolls.
Yeah.
But if you do it off a high enough height, she just breaks her neck, and you can do it in her house if you jump up on railings. And to do it, you've got to. It was like L1, R1, L2, R2, and then like jumping forward all at the same time to do the.
You had to do
dive.
It like.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was weird.
There was a specific moment that you had to do it, and it was fucked. But it made the most horrific, like bone crunching sound. And she had like this weird gargle as she hit too. It was so fucked up.
Do you remember the butler from those games?
To figure that out. Yeah, and you could lock him in the
shoot the
freezer.
fuck out of him, and he'd be like, ah, and he's just holding up like the plate that he carries everything on. Tomb Raider was funny though,
Like,
because some shit sounded really far fetched and would then play out. So Tomb Raider 2, level 1. So you start at like the Great Wall of China. I don't know if you ever played Tomb Raider 2. There's a spot.
I've played the first 3 a few times.
I just don't remember them anymore.
There's a spot you can go to where you're supposed to get this like flying fox over this big hole.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the edge of that hole, like right where it meets the wall, and dangle her off the edge and walk to the right spot and drop and catch yourself, you can get to the bottom of that hole and it's a big nothingness. Run to the end of it and there's a little hole in the wall with a package. Pick up that package and you get every gun and all the ammo. I know I did this. This isn't actually a bullshit one. The moment you walk out of that hole, a Tyrannosaurus comes at you.
They're just like, prepare yourself, bitch.
It's so wild because like Tomb Raider games are notorious for being like, this is all real stuff. They seem like Da Vinci coding you, where they're like, here's supernatural, but it's not actually going to play out that way. And then the last 5 seconds, they're like, oh, it's supernatural. But this was like level 1 of Tomb Raider 2. It just like, I was like, why is there a Tyrannosaurus beneath the Great Wall of China?
Why not? Why not, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait,
there was
Tyrannosaurus, they're American dinosaurs, aren't they? Or Canadian or something?
Yeah, my dinosaur geography is a little rusty, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
I know.
But I know a lot of the big carnivore dinosaurs were from China and that sort of region, so I guess it's not.
Apparently that's what, maybe it's a rumor I've done no evidence fact checking on, but I think that's like the rumor I heard was that's where the idea of like dragons came from, is they found dinosaur bones and were like, dragons.
Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does. No fact checking required.
You see a fucking pterodactyl or a tyrannosaurus or some shit, that's wings on a fucking pointy-headed fucker.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's a dragon.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then like weird Western fucks are like, oh, that's an angel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
yeah,
Brady,
so there was heaps of weird shit like that in games though. Like, do you have any examples, Justin, of like bullshit things you were told actually happened in a game and then didn't? Because
I'm trying to think of anything, but not really. I was pretty much like a cheat codes guy, so I would like get the cheat code book, like when it came out. Like you just slap the book, like GTA and stuff.
Books?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Nah, man.
Man won't even buy wireless headphones. You used to buy cheat code books. Did you get the Crash Bandicoot one so you could unlock all the gems?
Nah, man. Nah, I earned that shit. Nah, it was really like when I wanted to fuck around, like, you know, just on GTA or something, like increase my wanted level all the way up to 6 stars, just give myself bazookas and just walk around, just try and survive for as long as you can. Just all that sort of dumb shit, like, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I still like kind of partially remember some of those cheat codes, but the one cheat code that I don't think I'm ever going to be able to wipe out of my head is Vigilante 8's Nintendo 64 game. So yeah, it's in there. It's unlock everything. It was just a cheat code that I found on a website. Actually, it was like just straight up off like GameFAQ or whatever from back in the day.
Shoot it.
And JT, BT, 7C, FD, 1LR, MGW. That'll unlock all the vehicles and
there you go, kids.
Games, so.
Everyone that's still playing their 64,
guys.
crack it.
Yeah. Get your 64
Something
out,
you could never use
original
ever.
Vigilante 8 out, not Second Offense because that game was rubbish. And lock that in, boys. Yeah.
What? Yeah, so I mean, it's not as bullshit, but to think about games a little bit more, and the fact that I've been playing the shit out of one, and it's a bit topical and on mind. I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West.
Yep.
And I was having a good think today because this shit keeps happening to me, and it reminded me. I just want to talk to you guys about it actually. So open world
just
games.
everyone else stop fucking listening.
Turn off the episode.
This is a private conversation. Why are you listening still? Like this is private.
I forgot to be inclusive. Okay, my fellow BD hosts and all of the people listening, please comment below what you think about this topic. When you have an open world game, but certain parts are locked out as you explore, because you're
just like an
supposed
invisible wall, and you're just there like,
well, no,
"Let me
that's
in, you
annoying.
fuck."
That's annoying. I prefer more creative ways to stop you. But
A
when you come
literal
across
wall.
something
Damn it!
that's that's what I'm getting at. So when you come across something that's meant to be explored later and they block it with like an ability you won't have clearly till later in the game, or Horizon's doing it with there are parts of the map that you're totally free to go to. It's open world, but you go there and it's like, oh, it's blocked because you don't have this thing.
Get here if you fly on.
I'm cool with that if it's just like
swing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that when it's like an optional, exceedingly epic thing that you can go to after the game if you feel like going to that effort. And there's only like one or two in the game. There are shitloads in Horizon. Like I keep being like, there's a bit on the map I haven't explored. I walk over and it goes blocked. I'm like, okay, I'll keep going. And then I find like the next thing and it's blocked. I'm like, so you're claiming to be open world, but if I don't play this linear, I can't do much.
So
it gets annoying because it becomes restricting on your own play style, and that kind of frustrates me. It depends on how long this story needs to be played out for, because like like Skyrim, I get sidetracked so heavily with jumping into side shit that I don't finish the main quest sometimes ever. Like when I was talking to you guys last about Skyrim, I was like, have I ever finished the actual game? Turns out I have, but I couldn't remember it because there's so many other shit that I wanted to do. So it really pisses me off when you are doing something and they're like, oh no, you can't get there without the grappling hook, and you can't get the grappling hook until you get these like funny little wheels on the bottom of your shoes so you can roll down this little hill, and you can't get down that hill without getting some like knee pads for safety. So you got to go back to the start. And it's just that really frustrates the shit out of me to a point.
To bring it back to a certain game, I think the GTA trilogy, like 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, actually did that possibly in one of the best ways you could imagine. So all of them are set on islands. Each are formed by multiple islands, and each island is separated for a story-based reason. So GTA 3 is the easiest to explain, but basically
it's pretty straightforward.
The first bridge is actually exploded. It happens in the opening cutscene. That's how you get out of prison or out of the prison transport truck. So the bridge to the next town is fucking gone. So that's that. Then when you move to the second city, there's a storm warning. No, I don't think it's not a storm warning. It's the mechanism to lift and lower the bridge for boats to go under is broken. And while they're repairing it, it's out of commission. So
can you imagine if like a major city like LA, just like their main bridge in and out of town just stopped working and it was broken for as long as it is in the game?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Totally plausible. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that is like a good way to approach it, in a sense of like, this is going to stop you, but it doesn't actually physically stop you. If you find a way to make it from island A to B, that's fine. They increase your wanted level for getting there, but you can get there and you can explore. You can try and do whatever you want.
Yeah,
like you'll get fucked up by police, and it won't like just hard block you. Because I think that's one of the most annoying things.
The probably the most like annoying one of them is the literal invisible wall block. That is
100%.
Absolutely infuriating.
No, it's not. I got one worse.
Oh, really? Oh, damn.
Bring it on.
Because I ran into it in the same game. I was trying to get to this spot and there was like cliffs and stuff. You know how sometimes it's hard to tell what's your fucking path when you've got a character who can climb walls. So you're like trying to work out what's the cliff I'm going to use to get there the fastest. And you keep walking and it comes up with a fucking warning. Like you keep going and it's just like leaving the game area. If you continue, your last save will be loaded. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Shit.
Way to break the immersion.
That is so fucking shit. That does actually remind me. Did you guys ever play Motocross Madness?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yes, I did. And so you had to like preload the suspension to jump.
Nah,
that the
yeah,
right one?
I think
Nah,
that's
it's a
Moto
different
Racer
one.
3.
He's like Jeremy McGraw or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones that came out.
Yeah,
all at
there's
the
a
same
few
time.
of them. Yeah.
Motocross Madness was actually made by Microsoft and Rainbow Studios back in the day.
Yeah.
And it had a thing where like you have this big freestyle track, but it's literally open world. However, if you just keep riding in one direction, which everyone does,
Of course.
you just get to this big fucking cliff face. You can ride up that fucker though, especially if you hit it fast enough. You hit it fast enough and you go over and you ride for a little bit and then the game just fucking shoots you straight across the map. Like you just get
Yeah,
yeeted.
this is definitely
remember
it's an
that,
Xbox game, right? Originally?
No. God, no.
Maybe
Way
I've
before.
played a follow up to it or something like that, but I've
MX versus
experienced
ATV
that.
was the like follow-ups. By the
Maybe
same
that's
company.
it. I don't know, but I do remember like going off a cliff face and being like yeeted back to the middle. I was like,
Yeah, Motocross Madness was fucking awesome. Like that's
Paris
such
Dakar
a
Rally did a clever version of that where you would be just cruising, same deal. Why we would want to test the limits of a map, I don't know, but you'd just be cruising, you'd be like, wow, this game is huge. And then it would just like subtly turn you around. So you're like, wait, which way was it? Hold on a second, you sneaky fucks. You'd turn back around and just subtly be turned back around at some point. It was very clever. So you didn't really know where exactly the hard limit of the map was.
Slowly turns your fucking camera without you noticing.
Just you slowly watch like your compass change and you're like, oh, it's here somewhere. But it wasn't
That's
like
cool.
a invisible wall or anything. So that's clever.
yeah. So I am a big hater on the invisible walls, and
and the limits, like you're not strong enough to be here yet, so probably don't do it, pal. Let them fail. Like
let me give a crack.
Shit. Yeah.
Always about like we spoke about that in one of the previous last episode with difficulty stuff. The Pokemon being able to now they've opened it up, but like you can't really fight them because it's like your Pokemon's too scared. It's like, okay, so why are they there? Oh, for realism, there'd be mixed levels, but it's not really realism if I can't play. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
obviously a game.
I kind of like how games like Dark Souls approach it. Like, so how they will build their level design is it's sort of open world, but it's also sort of enclosed, and it very much points you in specific directions. But if you have the means to go places, like if you watch people doing like Soul Level 1 runs and shit, they do bosses in a completely different fucking order to me. Like they're out there like, oh yeah, I'll do this boss first and that one. And there's only ever limits that they actually explain with lore. So, for example, like there's certain bosses that you can't get to because you need a device called the Lord Vessel. The Lord
Vessel.
Vessel
Way of hiding it behind like an invisible wall of swords. So
exactly,
that's good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is you've got to create a reason for someone to believe that they're limited in these sorts of environments.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, Dark Souls may have done that. Elden Ring sure as fuck didn't, because I just wandered off and then was like, why is there a dragon coming out of this lake trying to kill me? I have just stepped foot in the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that does sort of also happen in Dark Souls. You just walk into a place, you're like, oh, this should be fine. Dead.
Yeah.
So that's any Souls game.
Yeah, 100%. That's half the fun of it. But, yeah.
Yeah, so invisible walls suck. Fake bullshits in games suck. Justin, what do you have that sucks?
Fishing. Constantly fishing.
Fishing.
Let's bring it back to fishing, boys.
Have you not done fishing in Elden Ring yet? Sorry, Skyrim.
Fucking Elden Ring. Jesus. No.
It'll be there soon.
Fucking murdered by a fishing rod in Elden Ring.
You accidentally fished out a piranha. It called its friends.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no. Fishing is definitely my thing that I just.
We're not talking about fishing. Like, God damn it!
You were supposed to have a thing to talk about.
It's not something that annoys me though. So
no, just
all right. What do you got? Just ruin my segue as usual.
Look,
his segue was dog shit. Just move on.
It was pretty bad, and now it's just completely derailed whatever it was that I was going to talk about. So
whatever it was, you don't even remember?
No, I don't. I legit don't actually remember. So
what kind of DM are you? Where's your notes?
Take notes on
Do a
Basement
history
Discourse.
check.
It's terrible.
Yeah, no, that checks out.
Yeah,
It definitely checks out.
I actually don't remember what I was going to talk about because we're talking about terrible things that annoy us, and that just reminded me about fishing. So
Yeah, fishing does still annoy me.
Yeah.
Fishing is pretty outrageous.
Out of curiosity, you've played the original Skyrim, right, Justin?
Correct.
Like the original release.
Yeah.
And you've now played through the most recent release.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's the anniversary edition or if it's special edition or something. Like, there's so many different editions.
Yeah, it's weird, right? So just to cut you off there, I went in to buy the OG and they were like, oh, we have this one. It's called the special edition. And then when I put it in and got to the main menu, in the corner, it says upgrade to the anniversary edition to have fishing and like all those DLC things, but I have all those. So I was like,
I do too, strangely enough. I do too.
What's the anniversary? I'm a bit confused by that, but you know,
it's just we've sold this game 15 times already, and now if you upgrade,
we
get more money.
They've forgotten what's the upgrade as well. Like, oh shit, this is the version that's already upgraded.
But that's something that fucking shits me right off. Is re-releasing games that don't need a re-release and without reworking anything that much. Like, they've added some new mechanics and stuff, but you know what would be fucking way better? Add some fucking missions, some new lore, add a new fucking area.
Throw some DLC in there if you're gonna do it.
Fuck, make it dedicated.
If you're still talking about Skyrim, they definitely did.
Yeah, but
there's a heap of new areas that you haven't played because Justin and I have talked about these extensively together in chat.
Yeah, but like, that DLC came out not too.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the normal DLC pack. Yeah, I'm talking like they've been re-releasing this game for over 10 years now.
Yeah, and we've.
You mean you didn't want to do fishing in Skyrim on Switch? That's not the re-release you wanted?
I don't want to do fishing anywhere with anyone.
This is true. Yeah.
Especially not
I can't wait for the Basement Discourse fishing special where it's just us on a boat being like
playing
this
fishing
sucks.
but also playing Nintendo Switch fishing.
No, it's just us like talking about how much we don't want to be there.
Floating out in a dinghy.
Yeah, got me dinghy out in the dinghy.
Wow.
Was there a reason? You just wanted to complain about different releases of games?
Yeah, no, I just hate that like games like Skyrim get tons of re-releases without actually adding real value to it. Whereas there are games that are so massively loved and people would kill for re-releases, remasters, versions to come out on just new consoles, fucking whatever. And they're all left at the wayside so Bethesda can shoot a hot load right into their own mouths over the same Skyrim release they've been doing for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Hey man, they've been awfully busy in Elder Scrolls Online. That's fucking dog shit as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you fucking played it?
No, I played it real early. I'd really have to check it out now and see how it compares, but I'd say it's probably very similar.
Combat's different than like Warcraft and Star Wars and shit like that, but it's still very MMO-ish, and
it is, and it hasn't sorted its problem properly. Like, you get through the little tutorial thing where you're a dead person brought back or whatever. You get to that version's game of A Town of Beginnings. You step 1 foot out, somebody comes past with a fucking tiger, a dragon, and a lion following them and just murders you for your beginning gear for no reason. Like, they haven't sorted out that MMO problem that if you didn't play this game on release, you're fucked logging in now.
So you're playing a PvP server then, by the
I was gonna say this point needs PvE servers.
Yeah. I think you need to just change your servers up. I'm pretty sure that they have friendly servers.
What's the point of playing online if you're not going to play with other people?
No. So PvE you do play with. It's like co-op rather than against other players. So PvP is designed more for people who want to actively fight other live players.
Yeah, like
it's not like I get a chance to pick these things on PlayStation, though.
I think you do. Yeah, I think you do have an opportunity to pick that.
Just think of how many shit people own consoles. Like there's you, there's Justin. You know,
No,
that's
you know,
about it.
That's a good 2 examples.
Yeah.
That's 2 out of 3 to be fair.
Well, I have an Xbox over there, but
It's gathering dust.
I just use it to watch Plex. That's all.
I love watching anime on my Xbox.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what else checks out? That's the end of this episode. We just kind of bitched.
We're checking out. Yeah.
No, it was mostly you bitching.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. And Justin bitched. He did.
A little. Not that much, really.
But it was
only
about
he couldn't
fishing,
hear us
so I was
through
old
his
bitching.
shitty...
Yeah.
He didn't bitch
so
much because he had his shitty fucking wired headphones, couldn't hear us.
Everyone send money to our PayPal so Justin can buy 1 unit of headphone.
I'll just deal with the one single ear.
Well, at least then you'll hear something, you bitch.
Wow.
Sees.